Hey, how you guys doing? I hope everyone is healthy because I need my subscribers living and breathing considering that YouTube isn't pushing my channel anymore, so getting new subscribers is hard. You guys is all I've got. But anyway, I'm not going to show much skin today because I feel a little bit under the weather, but I am going to do my best to entertain you even without showing my beautiful face on a live camera. The pandemic is still going. We're in the middle of April and some countries are still locked down. And different countries have different ways of locking down people than others. And you get to see on social media a lot of police officers really enjoying this, like really taking this up a notch. I mean, look at how obvious this is. Look at this shite. Would you feel safe with this police patrolling your streets? This is from Britain. Of course, it's from Britain. And you have like the pictures of two shadows. And it's if you think that by going for a picnic in a rural location, no one will find you, do not be surprised if an officer appears from the shadows. We are covering the whole county. So they're like shadow beings, aren't they?
What are these things?
Shadow beings.
Pretty violent, as shadows go.
Shadow beings from the shadow realm.
They must be sent from the shadow cabinet. Honestly, I do not understand this idea of provoking terror in the population in a time where people need hope and understanding. And I've seen a lot of things on social media, but I think the one that takes the cake must be the Tasmanian police, which actually managed to get a helicopter in the middle of goddamn nowhere in order to prevent some people from taking a picnic. I guess they didn't want to make the mountain lion sick. Apparently, this disease can be given to cats. I'm not kidding, like there's a tiger in New York affected by it. So, yeah, I mean, you can give it to tiger lions, and then the tiger lions can spread it to other humans. So, yeah, big concern. We need to fly the helicopter all the way in order to make sure that people aren't taking a picnic in the middle of goddamn nowhere. I'm legitimately curious, though. How much money does this cost? Because helicopter fuel is expensive. But it's not only that. It seems that these shadow beings should be pretty effective at stopping crime, shouldn't they? I mean, how is there a knife epidemic in London when the police are so scary? How are there grooming gangs in the United Kingdoms if the police are so effective? It's either that the criminals must be even scarier than the police, or the police doesn't want to do anything. Which one is it? Seriously, if I was a British citizen, I would be outraged. I would be like, how is this possible? Like, if the police can be such powerful, such tsuyoi with normal average citizens, how are they with actual criminals, huh? But anyway, right, let's talk about Romania. Let's talk about my country. Now, in my country, believe it or not, the police aren't that much of an assholes. I mean, at least they're not trying to scare the population by posting stuff like, if you leave the house, we know. We are already there. We are watching. When you masturbate, we know. We are like the shadow being.
Shadow beings.
No, but instead they do something else that is also annoying. And one police officer, which had enough, is speaking out. And it's in the newspaper. So if you want to leave the house in my country, you can do that under certain circumstances. Like if you have a dog and you need to walk the dog. If you want to buy food for yourself, or if you want to take care of an elderly person. Like there are a couple of reasons that the law allows you to get the fuck out of the house. Now, if you want to do that, you need to take a blank piece of paper and you need to write your name, your address, the date, the hour where you're leaving the house, the reason that you're leaving the house for. And you need to have that on you as well as your ID so that you can play papers, please, whenever you leave the house. Because the police officer can go like, papers, please. And if you don't have the paper, they're going to give you a fine. And by the way, it's quite expensive for a Romanian. Like $1,000 fine can cripple the average person. That's like a wage here. Like, it's a lot. So you can get the fine if you don't have the papers or if you didn't complete them properly. Like, for example, you forgot the date or you forgot the signature, or, you know, like if one of those key elements that should be on the paper is missing, well, you can get fined. And apparently, like, the police officers are having a competition. It's like the Hall of Fame of who gives more fines to people. That is beyond fucked up. That's a remnant from the communist regime. There is a reason we called it here the Red Terror, because there were police officers at the time that were told that if they want to keep their job, they need to make a certain numbers of arrests per week. So imagine if you just don't happen to find any people breaking the law, and you already arrested 3 people that week, but you need to arrest 4. Well, you're going to arrest some innocent person, aren't you? Because your job is more important. So it encouraged the police to be far more brutal and far more harsh than they should be. And it's the same thing here. Like, if you're going to encourage people to do this Hall of Fame, which who gives the bigger fine, who manages to collect more money from citizens, you are going to see abuses. And I have seen on social media a couple of people complaining that even though their paper was correctly written, they still got a fine. Now, how can you prove that your paper was correctly written? How can you prove? Because the police officers in my country, as far as I know, do not have a body camera. Like, they, like in America, where, you know, they have like this body camera on their chest. So I don't know, like, it's kind of difficult to trust the people that are on social media, because they're not providing any evidence. And I know, like, a lot of people have lied and posted fake news, but when you see a police officer going to the press and say, yeah, this is what they do in my precinct. In my precinct, they have this competition of who gives more fine to people. That is fucked up. Like, these are not criminals that you're investigating. These are your citizens. Would you like it, police asshole, if someone did that to your mother? They probably wouldn't, because the way it works in Romania, if someone tried to give a fine to her officer mother, the mother would be like, oh, do you know my son works at such and such precinct? And I would be like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm just going to give you a warning, right? Fucking nepotism. But, you know, like, it does take strength for a police officer to come out and speak out. And I do agree with him. And yeah, I mean, when this is over, people should look into this whole competition of giving fines. Because it's unbelievably fucked up. It's not okay. The job of a police officer shouldn't be on how many fines you gave. Like, the purpose of a police officer is to prevent crime. Like, that's why you even have police officers on patrol. So that the criminals who see the police officer think twice before committing a crime. So usually the job of a police officer, like a good policeman, should be the guy that doesn't have crimes happening on his beat. Right? Because that, like, it's preventive. It's not like how many fines did you manage to give. So just, I'm curious if they do the same with the rest, though. Huh? So, you know, it's really funny when I see police socialists on Twitter, the ones with the hammer and sickle, the ones with the black flag, complaining about the American police. Yeah, you should visit the British police, which are considering themselves to be very progressive. They paint their cars in rainbow colors. They put on rainbows on their faces and whatnot, and then they're like the shadow beings, just walking around the country and terrorizing anyone who dares going for a picnic. Oh, and during this time of crisis, they also have the bad power to respond to people that get nasty tweets. So if you get a nasty tweet, you can call the hotline for an emergency. I'm not even making it up. Like, there is an emergency hotline if you got a nasty tweet on the Twitter. If someone misgenders you, I assume. Someone deadcocks you on Twitter, you can call the emergency hotline to have some police officers that you would think should be used to investigating some more important stuff that goes on, but the heck do I know? I mean, I'm from Romania. It's a dangerous place. Maybe Britain is this paradise, this utopian safety where there aren't any serious crimes committed, and that's literally the only thing that police officers can do. Police the Twitter. By the way, if Twitter is so dangerous, why don't they just take it down? Like, I never understood this. It's like, if it's so dangerous that crimes are being committed, like, is it necessary for life? Is it Like, can a person not survive without the twilight? Take it down. Just take it down if it's so dangerous. Anyway, right, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.